Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
Today, we are stepping away from the spreadsheets. We're
Yeah.
leaving the world of advanced analytics, efficiency ratings, all of that behind.
We're heading out onto the court to look for something, I guess, a lot harder to quantify,
The soul of the game.
which sounds incredibly lofty, but we're doing it with a guide who is anything but pretentious. We're diving into Expensive Basketball by Shea Serrano.
Yeah, and if you've read his other stuff, like basketball and other things, you already know the vibe. It's hilarious, it's obsessive.
So many footnotes, but this concept of expensive, that's really the hook for me.
It's a fascinating premise.
Yeah.
Serrano basically starts by saying, look, the NBA right now, everything is measured. We know a player's true shooting percentage, their win shares.
We can probably track how many calories they burn blinking. It's the whole Moneyball effect. We want to solve basketball like it's a math equation.
Precisely. But Serrano argues that the things that, actually make us fall in love with the sport, the moments that stick to your ribs years later, are just uncountable.
They're moments of virtuosity, specific feelings.
And he calls these moments expensive.
And he explains this with an analogy that is maybe the most Shea Serrano thing I've ever read. It just sets the tone perfectly.
On the diner
The diner scene. So he says, imagine you're sitting alone at a diner. A stranger comes up, sits down, and puts a gun on the table.
Nothing like a life or death situation to clarify your aesthetic preferences.
Right. So the stranger says, if you answer my question wrong, I shoot you. He pulls out a tablet. First, a clip of Ray Allen shooting a jump shot. Perfect form.
Just pure water.
Then he shows you a clip of Joakim Noah shooting a jump shot. And for those who don't know, Noah's shot was unique.
Unique is a very polite word for it.
So the stranger asks, which one feels more expensive?
And the point is, you just know. Instinctively. You don't need to look up their shooting percentages.
You know immediately, Ray Allen's shot feels expensive. She writes, he shoots like a first-year violinist. It's high art.
And Joakim Noah shoots like someone handed him a basketball covered in bees.
That image is so visceral. You can just see the panic. But that's the whole book. It's a journey through players and moments that give you that expensive feeling.
So let's start where he starts. With a player a lot of people call boring, but who Shea just reveres, the big fundamental.
Tim Duncan.
And the chapter is called The Erosive Terror of Tim Duncan. I mean, erosive terror is such a brilliant description.
Because terror in basketball is usually, what, explosive, shattering a backboard or something?
Exactly. That's shock and awe. But Duncan wasn't that. Duncan was erosion. Think about a river just carving a canyon over centuries.
It's quiet.
It's consistent. He didn't break you instantly. He just leaned on you and leaned on you until you broke.
I love that. It's like you're playing against him, you feel like you're doing okay, but he just keeps banking in that shot, keeps getting that rebound.
And then you look up in the fourth quarter, you're down 12, and Duncan has like 24 and 14, and you have no idea how it even happened.
It's the inevitability of it. Shea points to that 2014 game against OKC. Overtime. Durant and Westbrook in their prime.
And Duncan just operated. He controlled everything, the pace, the scoring. He just suffocated their momentum.
Yeah, Reggie Miller was on commentary and shouted, get the ball down to you-know-who. Old man. Riverwalk.
Such a perfect, kind of dusty nickname for him.
But my favorite detail from this chapter, the thing that proves how little he cared about Flash, is a stat Shea drops.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Tim Duncan is the only player in NBA history to win an MVP and commemorate it by wearing jean shorts and sandals in the official photo.
It's an incredible level of confidence. Everyone else is in a custom suit. Duncan looks like he's about to go fire up the grill.
It tells you everything. But okay, if Duncan was quiet erosion, the next chapter is the total opposite, a lightning strike.
The answer, Allen Iverson.
This chapter is all about the cool factor. I mean, Serrano argues, and I think he's right, that Iverson completely reshaped the aesthetic of the league.
For sure. Before Iverson, the league was still very corporate. Yeah. He brought the cornrows, the tattoos, the arm sleeve. He brought hip-hop culture to the court.
And just this defiant durability. He was so small, but he threw himself at giants every single night.
And the attitude. There's that legendary story. He just played, 52 minutes in a finals game? A reporter asks if he's fatigued.
And he just looks at him and says, I'm not thinking about fatigue. Fatigues are army clothes.
Fatigues are army clothes. It's just poetic. It completely rejects the question.
And because this is a Shea Serrano book, we have to talk about the Jesus comparison.
Oh my God, yes. This part is amazing.
He has a section where his researcher tries to build a case that Allen Iverson is basically Jesus.
The parallels are Let's say they're creative.
For Jesus, you have the virgin birth. For Iverson, the book just lists, conceived without intercourse.
Which is just so literal and absurd. But it gets at that religious fervor fans had for him. He felt like a savior.
He was the ultimate underdog. But speaking of cool, let's jump over to the WNBA, the Sue Bird chapter, and this concept of the backpedal.
Yes, this is a masterclass in what expensive means. We've all seen players celebrate. They scream, they shush the crowd. The backpedal is different.
So set the scene.
Okay, it's a huge game, playoffs. The crowd is just going insane. Clock's winding down. Sue Bird hits a three, but the ball is still in the air.
She doesn't even watch it go in.
She doesn't need to.
Yeah.
She just turns around and starts jogging back on D.
She knows. That is supreme competence.
It's so cool. Shea compares her to Samuel L. Jackson in Jackie Brown.
The quote is, when you absolutely positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room except no substitutes.
That's her. Calm delivery. She's not frantic. She's an assassin.
And that idea of the assassin leads us right to the next guy, Reggie Miller.
Ah, Reggie. She admits Reggie was the first basketball player he ever truly loved, which makes sense. But for everyone else, especially Knicks fans, he was the ultimate villain. Shea calls his style graceful gloating.
He didn't just beat you, he performed it. The sneer, the bow, the choke sign. It felt personal.
But the chapter takes this really surprising turn. It doesn't end with 8 points in 9 seconds. It ends with his retirement game in 2005.
Right. Here's this guy, the killer, the coach takes him out, and the crowd in Indiana gives him this huge, long-standing ovation.
And Reggie Miller, the villain, just stands there and weeps.
For the first time, he couldn't handle the stakes. The emotion finally broke him. It shows you why these moments feel so expensive. It's because the players care so deeply.
From the emotion of an exit to the emotion of an arrival. We got to talk about LeBron. Specifically, the moment he went from great prospect to legend.
The 48 special, Game 5, 2007 against the Pistons.
He scored 29 of the Cavs' last 30 points.
It was just brute force and skill. It was the moment everyone realized, oh, the hype wasn't enough.
But I love how she pairs that with the next chapter on Dirk Nowitzki.
I love the Dirk chapter. He breaks down Dirk's appeal as the handle and the blade.
It's a great metaphor.
Yeah.
The handle is Dirk the person. Goofy, self-deprecating. You want to read for him.
He just seemed like a nice guy.
But then there's the blade. And that's the 2011 championship run. That one-legged fadeaway was just unguardable, lethal.
Shea says his game felt warm. Like Jordan or Kobe felt like gods, but Dirk felt like our guy.
Exactly, our guy, which transitions perfectly to the cultural icon section and the 90s Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, the teal and purple? I think every kid in the 90s wanted a Hornets starter jacket.
Totally, and that's the point. They never won a title, but they were a cultural phenomenon. Grandmama, Muggsy Bogues, Zoe, they were just cool.
There's that amazing detail about the guy who designed the logo. He didn't want a big check. He traded his royalties for FedEx Ed North Carolina barbecue.
Which, depending on the barbecue, might have been a good deal. It just shows the value wasn't in rings, it was in the vibe.
From the lovable Hornets to a guy who was less lovable, for Shea anyway.
Yes.
The Shaq chapter.
He calls this the guys I wanted to hit with my car MVP.
As a Spurs fan, I feel this deep in my soul. Shaq just ruined so many summers. He was a monster.
Serrano talks about Shaq's 3-year stretch of destruction from 2000 to 2002. It just felt inevitable. You couldn't stop it.
But then the chapter flips. Shea tells this story about meeting Shaq years later. He walks in ready to hate him, to hold that grudge.
And within 2 minutes, Shaq has completely charmed him. He's just got this magnetic personality. It's that duality. Terrifying on the court, world's biggest kid off of it.
Okay, now we get to a section called Grail Stories and Ghost Stories. This is a great framework.
It really is. A Grail story is the single best play in your team's history. A ghost story is the worst one. The trauma.
So for the Suns, the Grail is the Gar Heard shot. For the Bulls, the ghost story is basically the entire post-Jordan era.
But Shea uses this to dive into a conspiracy theory about the ultimate Grail player, Michael Jordan.
This is the number 6 chapter, and he warns you, I'm going to sound crazy here.
He totally puts on the tinfoil hat. He tries to prove Jordan has this, like, cosmic connection to the number 6.
Okay, so 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs. He's 6'6". That all tracks.
Right. But then he tries to make the math work for the draft year, 1984.
This is where he just loses it. He's like, okay, 8 minus 4 is 4. That doesn't work. What about 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 4? That's 22. Damn it, that's 1 short of 23.
He is twisting himself into a pretzel. It's hilarious because he's so committed. But his final point is that Jordan's last shot was for his 6th championship. It just feels scripted.
It really does. But But let's get back to the grit. The bad boys era. Isaiah Thomas.
The focus there is on the ending of your innocence. That dribble he had, keeping the ball just inches off the floor. But the expensive part is the toughness.
The game where he scored 25 points in a quarter on a severely sprained ankle.
Hopping on one foot. And then you have Dennis Rodman.
I love the analogy he uses for Rodman. He compares him to Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
Yes, where Will just looks at the impossible math problem and says, I just see it.
That was Rodman with rebounding. He didn't calculate the physics, he just understood it. He saw the geometry.
He had games with over 30 rebounds. It's absurd. He wasn't just hustling, he was a genius.
That genius leads us to the final section, artistry. He looks at the 96 draft class, Kobe, Iverson, Nash.
But he highlights this one specific Steve Nash moment that is just so perfect.
The mime high five.
Yeah, describe it.
So Nash gets fouled. He goes to high five his teammates, but nobody's there. So he just high fives the air. Then he steps to the line to shoot, but the ref hasn't given him the ball.
So he just mimes the entire shooting motion perfectly without a ball.
It's just muscle memory as performance art. And speaking of performance, Tracy McGrady, T-Mac.
The Velvet Brilliance. And of course the miracle. 13 points in 33 seconds against the Spurs.
Stop! You're hurting me!
I know. She describes it as a traumatic event. The Spurs had the game won, and T-Mac just decided, no.
I remember shouting at my TV. It was impossible.
Yeah.
4-point play. It defied logic.
It's breathtaking. The stats said the Spurs had a 99.9% win probability. T-Mac didn't care about probability.
And finally, the book closes on the ultimate storyteller, Larry Bird.
Shea introduces this idea of the memory carousel. Most players have a podium, their top 3 plays, but Bird has a carousel. It just keeps spinning with stories.
He was basically narrating his own legend as he played, the left-handed game where he just decided to play with his left hand and still dropped 47.
Or walking into the locker room before the 3-point contest and just asking who's coming in second.
And then winning it without even taking his warm-up jacket off. His game was so expensive because of the narrative weight it carried.
So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway?
Well, his conclusion is pretty profound. He says stats are fine, they help us understand things, but expensive basketball is about the moments that make you feel something deep.
He uses this beautiful image. It's like lying in the grass, staring at the moon, and suddenly realizing you actually exist.
That is way deeper than I expected from a book with a jean shorts joke.
It is, but that's what sports can be. It's about affirmation. Whether it's Steph Curry turning away before a shot goes in, or Vince Carter at the dunk contest, these moments just confirm that humans can do spectacular things.
And those are the things that stick with us. The numbers fade. I can't tell you Duncan's field goal percentage from some random game, but I'll never forget the feeling of watching T-Mac steal that win.
Exactly. And that's why we watch, not for the spreadsheet, but for the story.
Well, that is a perfect place to leave it. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.